All right, time for a little post-mortem update after the con. Johnny came back in pretty much one piece. We had a couple of things that happened while we were there. One is his arm. So this arm actually quit. And what happened was is that I got a regulator here, or a DC-DC converter here. And what happened was this was only rated for 2 amps max, or 2 amps and then 3 amps peak. And I'm guessing because maybe some of the size of the wires I used on this, I hadn't updated it. I actually updated the other arm, but didn't do this one. I think it must have peaked at some point. Maybe one of the servos stalled and popped that converter there. So I found a 5 amp one that's exactly the same size. So I'm going to stick that in there. I've been doing some readings and it doesn't get anywhere near 2 or 3 amps, but obviously it must have spiked at some point. And so I'm going to put that on there and hopefully that takes care of it. If I had the problem again, I'll probably fuse it on the output, but we'll see how that goes. But to work around it on day 2, I went to AutoZone and I got some wire here, and all this was supplying was 5 amps. So I took that line and I ran it around, ran it up through here underneath, and then ran it up over here where I have this 5 volts here, and I just tapped into that temporarily to get his arm running. Didn't want to normally have a wire all the way over there because it's just more wires I got to deal with, and I've already got 24 here, so I might as well just come off of it for the 5. So got that. We're going to swap that out. This is the replacement. You can see here it's got a I think it's a toroid on there, and then it's got a heat sink on that regulator. So that'll fit right in place of that. You can kind of see the differences. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on doing that. And then the only other issue I had is this arm got stuck at one point and it skipped the belt, so I got to recalibrate that. No big deal. What else happened with him? Had a situation where he lost an eye screw. So you can see over here, for easier showing this one, you can see how it's got the spacer. Over here, we don't have the spacer. So what happened was that screw came all the way out. Completely forgot to go back and Loctite these screws. His head's going to be coming off here soon, and we'll work on it a little bit. I got some things I've been wanting to update with it, including the internal speaker. Got a better speaker for it now, and one that I can always, and has a better amp. So when I do that, I'll fix his eye and get that spacer put back in there. Yeah, and then the only other upgrade I have planned while he's down is I used these little, well, I got to run this ground officially, so this ground's not running the way it needs to. There's a better way of running that. It was a temporary ground. And then I got these little clips. Let's see if I can see it here. So these here, these little connectors here, the little 3-wire, it's hard to see in there. There's a 3-wire clip. Those are crap. They're always pulling out. So I have decided that I'm going to do away with those slowly, starting with the ones that are on this. There's some behind here that consistently come loose. And I've got 4-pin versions of these. And these are fantastic. These weather-tight connectors. Don't have to be weather-tight, but they just happen to be. And I'm going to put those on there instead. It's kind of one, I used one right there for that 5-volt port I talked about previously. And then the other thing I learned was on these well, these are fuses, but these are breakers. But the fuse panel here, for the 2 that are for the tracks, I had 5 amp on here. 5 amps not enough. He popped these breakers a couple of times when he got going. It was the first official drive. I hadn't driven before, and so I looked at the rating and I looked at the wire sizes and everything. I can safely go up to 15 amps on those. So I'm gonna pop a couple of 15s in there. I think that will be rocking and rolling there. I don't have to worry about those popping again. Tiptoe uses a 10. And I'll put 15 on the tracks, and that should take care of that ever popping again. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I just had to reset the breaker. Thank goodness I used breakers, because trying to do a fuse change out in the middle of all that would have been a nightmare. So those are the, that's the kind of the planned updates. So talk to you soon.